Hello, my name is Chloe Rodriguez, and today I will be analyzing the coffee Esteban Zamora and practices by black and white coffee roasters under the standard of environmental ethics. I like Esteban Zamora because it is the first black coffee I really enjoyed plain. The addition of cinnamon powder is what makes this coffee stand out to me in flavor. The brand Black and White Coffee Roasters provides paragraphs of information on the coffee farm, process, and tasting notes, which relieves me as a consumer and makes me feel comfortable purchasing their products. The packaging makes me feel like I'm drinking innovative and modern coffee, not some gold instant blend. Their transparency and collaboration with producers who run their own farms makes me feel like they are a brand that cares about the morals of their process and the quality of the product they are delivering. I believe that Black and White invests in ethical practices regarding labor and the environment under the standard of environmental ethics. Black and White is based out of North Carolina and has a detailed website for consumers worldwide to order from. I really love the cinnamon baked flavor of this coffee. I also love the horchata note connection, and I love horchata, so that may be what makes it feel cozy and nostalgic. I like to add cream and sugar to my coffee as it makes it less bitter, but with this coffee, I would use less to let the flavor shine. I am most likely to consume coffee in the late morning, between 9:30 to 11 a.m. I think the horchata flavors are so pleasant to me because I would get that drink at food trucks or markets as a kid in South Florida. Esteban Zamora is farmed on El Cedro, a 5-hectare plantation located in San Marcos, Terrazú, Costa Rica. The bean is Caturra or Catuai, which are both mutations of Arabica. Coffee cherries have their fruit pulped at the wet mill without washing off mucilage from the seed. Everything but the cherry skin is added to GrainPro bags and combined with cinnamon powder. This ferments for 6 days in an oxygen-free environment before being moved to patios to dry, and the drying finishes in mechanical dryers at the mill. Interestingly, Black and White was acquired by Fairwave Specialty Coffee Collective recently in spring 2025. Co-founder Lem Butler departed subsequently after this acquisition, while co-founder Kyle Ramage stated, "This partnership represents an exciting new chapter for Black and White." Butler made a statement that this partnership is likely to ensure continued success for Black and White, so this may be taken as a positive remark or may imply cheaper tactics. This coffee is produced by Esteban Zamora on hand on his private-owned family plantation. All evidence emphasizes that the brand fostered a strong relationship with a coffee producer and farmer, and that the supply chain does not include any outside individuals or beans. Researching other beans for sale, I see that the farms used tend to be with generational family farms who set their own conditions. For example, Los Nogales beans in the Hernandez family. In fact, their catalog includes many coffee bags named after the coffee's producer. Esteban Zamora represents modern fourth wave coffee production because it incorporates modern processing and unique flavor modification. This coffee deviates from American coffee culture especially because of its combination of cinnamon powder in the roasting process and the use of a modern process known as anaerobic fermentation. In the natural process, cherries are dried intact with skin on in the sun. However, in anaerobic fermentation, cherries are sealed in tanks without oxygen to ferment before being dried. The powder is used in this process, and then the cherries are dried on concrete patios in the sun. Black and White continues to allow their farmers to explore their creative processes in coffee creation. This gives farmers some control over their craft that they are usually denied historically. Pioneer American coffee company owners like George Howell and Howard Schultz saw a vision for coffee houses as nationwide hangout spots. Black and White deviates from this slightly as while they have cafes, they cater largely to an online audience of esteemed coffee fans. They have two locations, their first being Wake Forest Cafe in North Carolina. Their second location is located inside the Dairy Chocolate Factory in Raleigh, North Carolina, and is a more casual setting. While their cafe may provide a cozy meeting spot for local consumers, most people purchase online, and the website emphasizes where to place orders for certain shipping dates, free shipping deals, and e-gift cards, allowing for more accessibility. I will be using environmental ethics to evaluate Esteban Zamora, which is an ethical theory that emerged during the 1970s about land rights and protections. Environmental ethics asks humans to examine what ethical considerations should be taken towards non-human nature, like land, wildlife, and mountain terrain in the case of coffee cultivation. In my opinion, Black and White does invest in ethical practices regarding labor and the environment due to their continuous relationships with ethical farms. Sometimes the coffee is grown in factories, not independently owned farms, but these factories are described as heavily regulated. I will note that the year round coffee tab has coffee bags that do not clarify farm, only country of origin, and these bags focus more on describing quality and imagery than the environment. The use of more regulated farms suggests that the workers involved in producing the coffee are treated fairly and paid a living wage. However, this is not available online, so I cannot make a definitive claim. This lack of description is not necessarily untrustworthy, as it may be due to their small business size that some information has not been fully made public. The answer to that question is evolving now as they are moving from independence. As consumers, we can encourage Black and White to include wage and worker information moving forward. Upon my evidence, I believe this coffee is produced in a sustainable manner. Independent farms tend to have a lower environmental impact, and Esteban Zamora is described as being hand processed by the farmer himself, which is less wasteful. Overall, it is important to me to drink ethically sourced coffee. I did not understand before this class how unregulated some coffee farms making our daily cups are, and how little protection is granted to laborers, especially children. Drinking ethically sourced coffee is a way for me to show respect to the culture of the coffee's home region. The production of Esteban Zamora respects the cultural values and traditions of Costa Rica because it was made by a local, and Black and White allowed him the creativity to perfect his own unique process. Between the mill and mechanical dryers, the modern technology in this process is not the traditional way to farm in Costa Rica, but it helps the farm run efficiently while showing respect to the land and wildlife. Looking to local farmers rather than cheap labor farms shows me respect for the culture and the people who truly live it. Thank you for listening.